Artur Davis, I should say. Artur is how he spells his name. He was a representative in the House of Representatives from Alabama. Because he was from Alabama, he was pretty conservative for a Democrat. Sort of in the mushy middle, maybe a little bit more liberal than I would like, but nonetheless, he wasn't, John Kerry or Ted Kennedy or something like that. And he was interviewed. He's moved, of course, when you become a representative, you buy a house in the Virginia suburbs of D.C., and that's really where you live from that point forward. You don't mix with the people back home except when you're, out with the rubes trying to get their votes. But Artur Davis now lives in Virginia. He said if he runs, he's going to run as a Republican next time. But they asked him, say, you're black. Do you think it's exactly identical what's going on with blacks and with homosexuals, saying that this is for civil rights? How many times have you heard that? Because I know if you believe in traditional marriage, or we should just say marriage, if you believe in marriage, you've been told that this is just another civil rights struggle and we're the oppressors, we're the Bull Connors, and they're the ones with the halos on the other side. Here's what Artur Davis says about how black people view that kind of commentary.
When you say to African Americans that the gay struggle is the black struggle, they don't buy it. And let me tell you exactly why I think blacks feel so strongly about this. The civil rights movement, when it reached its peak in the 50s and 60s, African Americans couldn't vote by and large. Certainly in the South they couldn't vote. They were excluded from public accommodations in many parts of the country. They were excluded from many union shops. They were excluded from employment. They were excluded from many colleges all around the country. They literally faced a threat of violence and physical intimidation day in and day out in urban and rural parts of America.
Now, he goes on to say in this clip, by the way, this is from thedailycaller.com, speaking with Jenny Thomas, who is, of course, Clarence Thomas's wife. But he goes on to say that none of these things apply to homosexuals today. They're very affluent. They're very prosperous. He said, even when they talked about having ENDA, the Employee Non-Discrimination Act, they've dropped that because there's so few discrimination cases to be brought. Even the ambulance chasers aren't interested in this. So he's saying there is no complementarity whatsoever. Here's what he has to say about that. This will take us out, I think.
Now, you can't compare gay rights, if you will, and African-American civil rights because they come from a totally different point of disadvantage. So African-Americans, like many Americans, argue about these issues and they debate these issues, but African-Americans often don't like is when they're told, if you don't agree with gay marriage, you're a bigot. Or how dare you take this position when at one point blacks and whites weren't allowed to marry in some states? How dare you take this position when fill in the blank?
A lot of white people don't like that either. AFR Talk.